I've always liked to play with fire.
To be with a narcissist, to live with him, is just to be a member of the cult. Narcissist is the leader of the cult, and you are just a member of the cult. Hi, my name is Mona Romanska, and we are talking today about narcissism as a religion for a narcissistic person. Narcissism is a very unique religion because there are two main members of that religion, God and somebody who worships this God, which is also a narcissist. And those two members are interchangeable. Narcissistic religion has a mission. Just like in 19th century Christianity, to extend their group of believers, sent missionaries in Africa. African people really loved it. And the reason why they loved it, because missionaries were easy to cook and were delicious. Imagine that in the same way, narcissist sees you. All he wants is to make you his believer, to convert you in his religion, and then either to eat you or make you his slave, his supply, his tool, which is useful for his church. What is narcissistic resource? When you ask a narcissist for a resource, you are asking him to worship you. And if you don't, you're going to be out of the church, because you are living or you are in relationship with a religious fanatic. And when you are dealing with any religious fanatic, you have your intuition telling you not to mock Muhammad or not to mock Jesus. You behave in church following rules of the church. You don't bring your Bible, which is from another religion, to the church. You act accordingly to rules of the church. It's pretty much the same here. All you have to do to be accepted as a member of the cult is to worship the God. Never doubt the existence of omnipotence of God, which is your narcissistic partner. Never offer him help. Once you offer help or advice for your narcissistic partner, you're showing no trust in his power, and his power as a God is limitless. It's just inappropriate, impolite, and rude to have doubts about God that you are living with. It's called a church, so please follow rules. So how narcissism became a religion for a narcissist? A child was abused, mentally, sexually, or physically, and during that abuse, a child is not allowed to separate himself from a parent. He doesn't learn who he was or who he is. He is not able to have those boundaries, to create, to see, to feel those boundaries of separation with his parent, especially in those families where the parent is very demanding. He doesn't allow his kid to make any mistakes, to step into a conflict with the world and then to resolve those conflicts. Or another extreme, when a parent so much believes in his kid and constantly praise him, saying that you are the best. Once he grows up and meets a cruel reality, and the world doesn't meet him with open arms just because he is not as great as he was told for so many years, the reality crushes his ego. Or let's say those parents who constantly say about conditional love. They show, if you do this, then you are loved and you will have this and that. And if you make a mistake, nobody loves you and I don't love you as well, I don't need you, go away. So what the kid learns is that his love has to be learned and nobody really loves him for who he is. So how does the kid is supposed to react on that? He has to create at least an imaginary friend, an ally, somebody who would support him and who will accept him for who he is. And what that friend might be? That is correct. It's a fake self-image. Something that he can create to protect himself, because that fake image has absolute power. That self-image is brilliant, is limitless, and so strong with possibilities that he can do absolutely anything, including protecting the kid from his parents and their conditional love. But this fake image that becomes a god for a kid is very primitive. It's like from the Old Testament, where God asked Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. The same way, this fake ego as God, as primitive and hungry God, asked a kid to sacrifice something in return of having this limitless power. What can kid sacrifice? He can only sacrifice himself. So in exchange of his real self, of his real image that becomes a victim inside, it's basically that. He turns into powerful, cruel God. And that God also requires sacrifices. And it's exactly where you step in relationship. That's where he needs you to sacrifice something so his ego blisses. And in this war, in this religion, there are only two scenarios. Someone psychologically has to die. It's either you or a narcissist. In other words, this sacrifice is for the sake of living of narcissist. You are supposed to die in order for narcissist to live. And it's your choice. But that's you are for. You are a sacrifice, a prey, and nothing more than that. Philosopher Berg in 1975 came with definition of borderline personality disorder. And what is interesting, when he discovered that the main sign of people with borderline personality disorder was a feeling of being dead, feeling inner emptiness. And that is exactly what people who were victims of narcissists feel. That feeling of being not alive, that out of life sources, it's pretty much similar. So if you think that you are not ready to worship your God, which is your narcissistic partner, you better leave a church. If you are not ready to be a prey, to be a sacrifice for his ego, you better run. Because, one more time, in this game, you have only two options: to die or to worship your God. It's your choice. Thank you for watching. Leave comments and likes, and I'll see you next time.